Hey everybody, it's Cece here, and in today's video I'm going to give you my 3 tips towards how to make your square knot look neat and perfect. If you haven't already learnt how to make the square knot, I do have a tutorial on that as well, so I'll display the link in my video now and I'll also pop it in the description below. Otherwise, if you do know how to make the square knot, let's get into how to becoming a square knot master. So my first tip is how to tell the difference between a right facing square knot and a left facing square knot. It's pretty self-explanatory, one starts on the right and one starts on the left, so let me show you how to make both and tell the difference between the two. Okay, so first I'll start with the right facing square knot, and as its name clearly states, you're going to start with the right side first. So my right cord is this pink cord here, and what I'm going to do is start using that one for my square knot. This will be my right facing square knot. So now I'll show you the difference with the left facing square knot. So we will now start on the left side using the blue string and create that L shape again and move through the square knot as so. And now this is your left facing square knot. So how do you tell the difference? Well, if you have a look at the two knots, you'll see that there's a line that sits within the square knot. The right facing square knot has that little line that faces on the right side, and the left facing square knot has your line that's facing on the left. It's important to know the difference between a right facing and a left facing square knot, because when you're using them in your work, you want to make sure you're sticking to one or the other. This will make your work look super uniform and more neat than if you switch from a right facing to a left facing as you go. Here I have created a couple of rows of square knots just to show you the difference between a right facing and left facing square knot and why it makes so much difference in your work. Here I've created a row which alternates between right and left facing, and you can see that it looks a little bit messy. In the second row, however, I've only used right facing square knots, and it just sits a lot neater and flatter when you have it in a piece. My second tip when creating a square knot is a super simple one. Just pull on the inside filler cords every time you create a square knot. Let me show you how to do it now. When we're creating our square knot, sometimes the filler cords can get a little bit caught up inside the knot that we're creating. To avoid this, what we want to do is just simply pull lightly on the filler cords before we tighten the knot like so. This is going to make the knot sit a lot neater and flatter in your work. Much better. My third tip, and something that I think is super important with your knotting, is keeping the consistency of how tight you pull your knots whenever you create a square knot. Here, I have a row of knots where you can see the difference between a tight square knot and a loose square knot. Both can be used in different circumstances and have really great advantages. However, when you have a group of them together, it is really important to keep the consistency. If you are trying to create an even piece of work, keeping your knots consistently tight and pulling them at the same strength will make sure your work is neat when it comes to the finished product. Don't get me wrong, sometimes when you're creating a piece, using different types of knots all together will create a really abstract effect, so there is definitely a time and a place. However, I would recommend as a beginner to start using the same technique throughout your knotting, just so you can get the real feel for it first. So there you have my 3 tips on how to create a more neat and perfect square knot. I've also created a downloadable PDF guide. It's called the Square Knot Bible, and I'll leave the link in the description below. That's a free download which goes over all the tips and techniques you need to become a square knotting master. If you are having any troubles with your square knot, please leave your questions in the comments below and I will get back to you. I will also be releasing new tutorials every week, so please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and here's to finding peace and creativity.